Good morning, and welcome to Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow together. Well, I am in the front garden, and I call this my urban cottage garden area. And I am in the city. Do you hear those planes? Those planes are going to Logan Airport, or coming from Logan Airport. So this is early Sunday morning, Father's Day, and I want to wish all of the fathers a happy Father's Day here from Catherine's Garden and Home. And I just love these Stella d'Oro daylilies. They're very common, but I think that they serve the purpose during this time of the year when we are transitioning from spring into summer. They herald the new season. So here I have my hydrangea that I propagated from a cutting. I followed Mike Kincaid. He is very good at propagation and teaching and training that, and I followed his method, and I was very successful. And now this hydrangea has grown up to be such a beautiful shrub here in my garden. Now it will not flower this year because my husband cut it down because it grows on old wood. He cut it down by mistake. But I do love the fresh green leaves and stems here, and I know that next year I'll probably get flowers. And I love the sedum. Earlier, I'm sure that if you are following me, you would know that my bearded iris was here and blooming really well. Well, now we're in the next phase, and as I said, we have the daylilies. We'll have the sedum next, and also some lilies that I have here in the garden. Now, this garden is in a work in progress, and I want to show you this. That I do use the cardboard method to keep the weeds down, because this can become very weedy, and one way of keeping the weeds down is to cover it with cardboard, and then I use mulch. And it seems to do a great job. It also gives me a pathway in to the back border there, and that way I can do maintenance on this garden. But I love these sedum. These sedum are from my since deceased aunt Tanti, and she had them in her garden. And before I left, I used to live with her, and when she passed away, I took some cuttings and I transplanted them here. Actually, I divided what she had and from her garden, and I planted them here. And since then, I've been dividing it. It was just a small piece, and it grew up, and I divided it and expanded it, and now I have it in different parts of the garden, but primarily here in the front garden. I am excited for how everything is looking fresh and alive, because we just had some rain here, and so after the rain, the garden just comes alive. This garden had a really great spring look, but as I said, it is transforming now, and we're going to have some Chester daisies coming up that I had grown from seed last year and planted in here, and now this year we're going to get its first blooms. I'm so glad that it's starting to bud up here, as you can tell. You can see these few blooms coming up. I'm excited to see them. I also have bee balm in this bed, and that's going to give a lot of color. Now, here I have the alliums and they just showed up so well. I had purple sensation alliums here in this bed as well, but these gladiator alliums are just standing up so tall, and I just like how the seed heads look, so I've kept them here in the garden. Now, you're going to also see in this garden bed some bachelor's buttons. I had some baby's breath and California poppies and so forth. And that is from last year when I had sprinkled in this garden bed area wild flowers. I was trying something new. So they have reseeded from last year on their own. They're gifts from the garden. And I like that. So we'll be having a lot more surprises coming in this garden. But in the meantime, I decided that I would add some garden interest by adding these pots. Now these pots I've had for a long time. I'm repurposing them here in the front. When this garden fills up and grows in more taller, I'm going to add some more stones and create a pillar so that we can still see my geraniums. Now these geraniums have been rescued from last year, at least this one here. I saved this geranium and replanted it, and now it is blooming, which is beautiful. So I'm glad to learn that you can save the geraniums, and that way I don't have to keep buying new geraniums, but rather I can extend my collection. So from seed, I have planted in these cosmos, some nasturtium, the other plants there, the zinnias. I even planted from seed, and this is still an experiment, my okra. I have some cleome that's coming into play there. And look at this beautiful sunflower. I had planted some sunflower seeds here, and this is the only one, the lone sunflower, that is blooming, but it's nice and big, so hopefully it'll have a nice big flower, and it will tower over the cosmos and the other plants that are in here. The purple perella, as you can see there, that's seeded from last year. And I do love the purple perella plant, which is edible, and it's throughout the garden. This side, or this portion of this bed, is plants that I've just seeded in. And you know, I know that throughout July that this is going to fill up and grow really quickly, especially if it continues to rain like how it did the last couple of days. We've been getting little spurts of rain, but last night we got a soaker. And if we can get at least a soaker once a week or even twice a week, that would be great, because these little seedlings will get a chance to grow up and flourish here in this bed. I'm excited to see what happens here. And I like to mix food with flowers. I think it's just so beautiful. I think like for example, the eggplant, when it grows up, it is so beautiful, and it has a nice little purple flower, and then the fruit is so ornamental to me. Then I have the zinnias, and I love my nasturtiums because they're edible as well, and they have a beautiful flower. And then I also planted in the back there, you can see them trailing underneath the shrubs, some squashes, butternut squash, and other pumpkins and so forth. And the reason why is because I love the leaves. I love how it just trails through the bed. And I love a full, rich looking garden. And so I know that those leaves are going to cover the ground and also provide for me food. Yeah, this is the time too that we want to have food. And I love squash, I love pumpkins, I love patty pan, I love the winter squash, and that way I can have a lot when I plant it so thickly. And these squash plants are from the plants that I grew last year, and we ate the fruit, and I saved the seed, and now they are producing for me. So it'll be interesting to see what we get. But this is the front bread, and I am so pleased with it. I'm really happy with this beautiful sunflower. Yeah, surprising how the sunflower has made me very happy in my urban cottage garden. Now you can also see that I have the alliums here, the drumstick, and they are about to open up as well. Yeah, it's going to be beautiful. In the past, this, which I call my naturalistic border, would have been filled with knockout roses, just filling this and lining this bed. But this year, that is not going to happen, at least not just at this moment, because this knockout rose died back so much, and I'm so glad to see some growth here. Hopefully by the end of the year it will grow some new shoots, and that it will regain some of its luster and growth that it had before. You can tell that it had filled up this whole space. You see that empty space there? That was my knockout rose. And I would have beautiful red flowers, but not this year. That's okay. This is euonymus. And here's, I had another rose bush. This was a knockout rose there at the bottom, but then right here I had a heritage rose, and that too suffered. But this is on its own roots, so I knew it would come back. The euonymus, though, it's really doing well. Look at that. And then I have zebra grass. And then right here, I had another rose bush. That's why you see this space. You see that lone red flower coming out. Yeah, it seemed like the euonymus also suffered a little dieback. I'm going to have to go in and cut that out. But this rose bush did very well, and it actually flowered earlier. It's one of the first rose bushes to flower, and this is a rugosa, white alba rugosa rose. And what I love about this is that they have these rose hips. Pretty, huh? And they turn red. Hopefully I won't have any insects eating them because they are so pretty. this view is still very attractive. I think with the euonymus, even though I miss my red roses, I still am appreciative of this view. And then I have these arborvitaes that I got from Costco. Not Costco. The arborvitaes from Home Depot. Yeah. About 25 years ago. 25 years ago. Yeah, one of my first plantings. This has been one of the first plantings in this border. And they have really grown up into some beautiful, beautiful plants here, evergreens. And this border gives really great winter interest here. I do love it. Now this is a new addition to the garden, and we used to just dump our compost here every year, and this year we decided because this ground is really rich from all of that we are going to use it to plant food. And this year we just decided that we wanted to plant more and more food here because we don't know what's going on with the world, and we want to be self-sufficient. So my husband and I created this garden, more him than myself. Well, we worked on it a little bit together, but he put the finishing touches here, and I really love it. I love this garden. And so it has kale, we have zucchini, I planted some of my okra, we have squash and butternut squash in here, we have some tomatoes, these big boy tomatoes that we planted in here. We also have some cucumbers that I planted from seed, and we have eggplant and corn. So corn is the big thing that we're adding to the garden. Corn here, this side of the garden. And this area gets morning sun as well as afternoon sun. So I'm looking for a beautiful, beautiful garden. That rain that we received last night really, really has solidified this garden space. And I love where it's located here because it's just helped this design. We have the top garden, we have the evergreens, and then we have this vegetable space on the side. Beautiful. In the past, this is what we used to call our food bed, but we have a lot of trees now, so it only gets morning sun and some afternoon sun. So we had to redesign this and decide what we want to grow here. Well, we're going to try out some more of that squash here and let it fill up this space. But in this area, this is where the sun seems to be the most and the soil is the richest. So these tomatoes are doing really good. These are early girl tomatoes, and they are healthy and looking grand. And we also decided to plant some cucumbers. I'm going to just have to come in and weed this a bit, but in the past the cucumbers did very well. So I planted the pickling cucumbers because I really like them, and I also planted some of the other cucumbers too, but they didn't seem to come up that well. I just see a few of them, and we're hoping for the best here. But this is our other food space here, and it's just looking really, really, really good. I just love how this has turned out. I do love this corner of the garden, and I love this pathway that leads down into the back garden. And in these 2 pots, I have planted here some nasturtiums and then some shade-loving annuals. I did have cannas in this and tried to see if I could overwinter the cannas in the pot, but it didn't work. But I do love the ground cover that's here. It's lamium and also bishopweed, and just a sweet little corner. I also like this evergreen arborvitae ball that I got. It's amazing. It was just a small little ball, and look at how it has developed into this beautiful shrub. And then also, this to me is like my Christmas tree's giving me really great winter interests, and just planted it in both of them, one in both corners, just to ground the garden, to center it. And I think that they're both looking really, really good, and they do a great job here in the garden. My husband has been very creative in trying to create these garden beds, and just wanting to utilize as much of the yard, of the garden space that we have as possible. So we put together this back space here and just trying to see what would grow. Definitely the impatiens will grow here because of the shade, and in the summer it just looks really, really pretty. So this is the back side of that garden space that I showed you, and this ground is just really, really rich. So the peppers, we've planted some red bell peppers. Now bindweed is just all over my garden, so I'm just continually trying to, I don't want to pull the plants, but yeah, when I'm finished but see that? Wonderful, we have some fruit there, and the tomatoes are doing well back here. So this just gives you an idea of the space that we have here and the extent of the garden. And we have been here for a good amount of years, and really are trying to utilize as much of the land as possible, and just enjoying it, and enjoying gardening. This has become our refuge and our place of meditation for the both of us, and a space in which we both can enjoy the garden. I am so happy to see that my hydrangeas are flowering a little bit here. That's a really good thing. Well, if you like this video and you like what you see here, I'm inviting you to subscribe to our channel and come and join us here at Catherine's Garden, where we grow together. We would love for you to come and visit with us on a weekly basis as we give these garden tours, and that as you see the garden change each week, something new is developing. Like, for example, this hydrangea. Wow, this is a new discovery for me. So come and discover with me as I do these weekend tours of the garden. I think that it would really bless you, and that you will feel refreshed and revived as we share the beauty of our garden. Well, have a great day. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell for more videos. Bye. For more videos, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And thank you so much for watching. See you next time right here in Catherine's Garden. Bye.